Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back to another Precision Golf Live on a Monday evening.
You back?
Well, listen, after the shoddy timekeeping of last week, I thought I'd have to come back and keep them in check.
I'm focusing on I Love Turtles comments, taking the mick. I thought they were great.
Yeah. Big week in golf, right?
Big week, yeah, lots going on, lots of interesting developments going on.
What do you make of the Rahm move?
I think it's the first one of many. I think there's got to be in some form of agreement by the end of the, well, it doesn't have to be, but there's some form of agreement by the end of the month. I think this is a big play by Liv to kind of to push them down a direction which they want to go. Lord knows what it means in terms of moving forward, but I think they appear to be. Wyndham Clark seems to be a shoo-in. Talking about Finau, talking about Hatton, talking about Hovland. I've heard mentioned. I think this is just the start of it.
Big night as usual on the Monday Night Live here at Precision Golf in West Byfleet, should I say, in the UK. Got a fantastic guest on with us in the studio this evening, George from GX Golf Gloves. Stay tuned for that. As usual, we've got the iPad on hand, taking any questions. There's a good few of you watching already, so do fire in the questions. Rahm making the move, taking the big bucks. They're all going to be thinking, is the agreement going to go through? Are we going to get compensated if we don't take the big bucks? They're going to want to cash in while they can. Finau is the one that I've heard is more than likely on the way. I think he's a bit of a sleeping giant as a golfer. Underperformed, hasn't won as big events as you'd like to think. But I think Hovland, I mean, all of these names coming out of the woodwork.
That would surprise me, but the route have heard it, you kind of go, oh, okay, they haven't been wrong before.
Yeah.
But he doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. But then Rahm didn't strike me as that from everything he said. I think he's been very good at staying out of all the arguments around it. But I think you're right in terms. I think he said, you know what, it's going to be, if there's a year of sorting things out, well, let's earn the money.
Yeah. Roll back, ball roll back. What are your feelings on that?
Mixed. I think something's got to happen. I think where the game is now, I think not having things keep kicking on and on. There's only so much land that you can use for a golf course. But I honestly think it majorly doesn't affect that many players. And there are going to be players that benefit from the ball change, and the launch and spin parameters might be favourable for some players. I think most players' variability on strike will make more of a difference than the ball change. I'd personally like to see restriction on loft at the bottom end of the bag, and probably off-centre performance being kind of curtailed a little bit to reward good ball striking. But I get they've got to do something. They can't do nothing, and we watch this space as to what the ball change actually means.
Yeah, well, we will certainly see. We've got a few people on already. I Love Turtle on cue.
Good man. More abuse.
Evening, Simon. Great to see the 2000 kid back. Grecian 2000 kid back. Yeah, I'm really starting to dislike you. I Love Turtle. He says nice things on my channel. Shameless plug. Got that in early this evening. Just watched him on Nick Donut's Tea Time Tips on Sky. Sure, he won't mention it. Don't know what you're talking about. Regular appearance on Sky Sports. Yeah. Martin Wheatley. Hi, good evening, Martin. MS Ali Nerd. What are your thoughts on lab putters? Is it something you have considered stocking yourselves?
We've actually got a couple that should have been here already, but are on their way. The principle about taking the gearing out of the stroke and being balanced around the shaft plane. Seymour have done something pretty similar. It's different, but it's fairly similar in the past. There's absolutely merit for it. A lot of golfers need some gearing and some sort of feel for the face. So they generally are for someone who actually has quite a good stroke, good technique. Good for holding out, not so good on long putts is generally, but there is some physics around it.
Niels Axelson says, who's driving my RC cars while I'm here tonight? I knew I shouldn't have said anything about that. Check out IFMAR 12 Scale World Championships. If you think they're RC cars toys, they're not. They're very bit high-tech.
I feel like a cat with a Dada jumper. Most people are probably too young to remember that. But stupidly fast.
Stupidly fast. Well, listen, let's get our guest on tonight.
Yeah.
Very, very excited. We've really been impacted by this brand very, very early on in getting to know about GX golf gloves. Let's bring him on. Let's bring on George.
Come in, George.
Come
How
and
are we doing, guys?
be the...
I'll say you go, you go.
Yeah, come on in between the two
middle,
of us.
yeah.
So, George,
Yeah.
do we...
I feel left out. I'm the only one not in black. You two are going all Gary Clare.
I know.
We got the memo, didn't we?
Yeah. Were you playing
I went quite in the year.
James, are we okay here camera-wise? Well, thumbs up from the drums man. So, George, tell us a little bit about your journey and your story with GX golf gloves. I mean, an incredible market to want to get involved with. I mean, I think we are, as kids, we're all very aware that Titleist have had a bit of a stranglehold on golf gloves over the years. FootJoy gloves, you know, it's certainly a Titleist player's glove for me and tour players alike. How have you got involved in this market and why?
Yeah. Well, initially it started, the ideas came around in COVID, early on in COVID, because I knew I wouldn't really have the job to go back to soon. So I was like, well, I don't want to work for anyone, so I want to kind of like figure out something I can do.
And you're a
I
good
may
golfer
as well use
yourself.
this time.
You're a good golfer
I'm
yourself.
off +2.
Yeah.
I did all the playing golf at university
In the US?
in America, in New York and Florida. So I thought I wanted to do something. I wanted to find something that I find annoying about the game and try and fix it. And
An
I
awful lot of those
maybe, and maybe there's a career there as well.
And you still haven't played with me, so there's another thing you've got to fix.
Apart from my shots that annoy me, what can I do in terms of product-wise? And I thought about how much more money I was paying for golf gloves from when I started university, when I was a young lad. I was there for 4 years, didn't have to pay for a golf glove, got out of university, would go to a club and think, hang about, the price of these have gone up by £8 or something. And it's painful, isn't it, when you need to buy one, it's 20 quid, 25 quid. You're not going to buy a weather glove either, are you? Unless it's one of ours, which are made from a better material than most. So I wanted to fix that. I wanted to like make it so that, because most people don't want just one glove, even though that's what you buy. You need 3 or 4, 5, 6. And the market is there for people to buy golf gloves in bulk from myself and save money. So that's what I did.
And so you reached out to me through my coaching channel.
Yes.
And you sent me, can I send you some gloves and have a chat? I was thoroughly blown away by them. Then I showed them to the guys. I use them in my videos. If you haven't checked those out, always got one in my pocket. I think it's been such a market that's been dominated by one company, really. I mean, there are other companies, but if someone said to you, what golf glove do you use? You would immediately go FootJoy Stay Soft or FootJoy all weather glove, wouldn't you? You wouldn't go, oh, I use a Callaway glove or I use a Mizuno glove, even though, or a Srixon glove. They're out there, but you wouldn't particularly lean on that. Price point wise, and I think that's the thing that hits us all in the pocket more now than ever. I was over in the US racing my toy cars, and I went into the PGA Superstore, and they're like $40 for like a player's glove.
Yeah.
They're a touch more than that. Where are you at with your Cabretta gloves?
So yeah, okay. The most popular choice for most people on the site right now is the 3-pack of the GX Players Cabretta gloves, which are made of 100% Cabretta leather, like you would find in the pro shops with your Titleist Players, FootJoy, Cabretta Softs, that sort of thing. And for 3-pack, they're selling at $28.99.
Which is
and
only a little bit more than the price of one glove for most.
And then often we'll send out emails with 10% discount, just to remind you, you might need some fresh gloves now. Use this discount, little gift. And then we also do packs of 6 and 9 as well, where you can again, if you play golf a lot, you can reduce the cost of a glove even more. And if you get to a 9-pack, you order a 9-pack, it's going to be working out at around £6 to £7 per glove.
I think, and anyone now that comes to precision golf is very fortunate enough that you're going to get a brand new GX golf glove, select them from our point of sale over there, and use it for your fitting, included in your fitting. I think from our perspective, and obviously yourself will say your thoughts on this, Simon, but there is nothing better than having a brand new glove in a fitting as well, because you've got the grips are all in great condition, but having a glove that you've worn maybe for 5, 6, 7 rounds, there's a big difference between the traction that you're going to get on a club and a glove and the performance. There was, back in the day, it was replacing your grips, weren't there? Because of the traction and the grip that you gained from it. So a new glove in a fitting, I think it's something that we're very excited about.
Yeah, it's a quality product. I think one of the things that automatically what one thinks to think about, how much per glove, let's say just a round number, £9, £10, is it really going to be that good? And then you put it on and go, actually it is, and looking at the stitching, the quality of that, the finishing, it's right up there with any of the top quality products I've seen. It's lovely to have a fresh glove in a fitting. It's great for us to be able to give someone a quality product when they come in. And everyone likes getting a new glove. But other bits of it for me are not just the bit about in here and having a fitting, but also you can get those gloves at a price point that, rather than using a knackered, black, horrible glove with holes on to practice in, what is the point of practicing, putting the time and effort in, and actually having to hold on tight because your glove's got no grip left? So actually you can practice the way you play and still have the same quality grip, the same quality feel, and make no compromises, and actually probably even still spend less than you would buying a new Verticommerce premium brand glove once every. You eke out, oh God, I'm going to make this glove last.
Absolutely.
I've spent 25 quid in it.
You don't have
Whereas
to feel
actually,
bad.
You don't have to compromise on that.
You don't have to feel bad when you go into your bag at the range and if there's a fresh glove in there, and you think, I'm going to be playing at the weekend. I need to save that and get out the dried old raggedy one.
Absolutely.
I've seen some gloves where someone's taken off and it looks like the hand's still in.
It's still in.
It's like a web or something. Yeah.
Now look, we've got loads of questions coming through, so as long as you're comfortable to hang around with us, we'd love to explore more on this. And I think it's so unusual to have someone like yourself really embark on a journey of taking on the big guys and deliver such a quality product, and that's why we're really excited to obviously work with yourselves. So thanks for coming in. So we've got Martin Whitley, interested in a junior iron fit. What is the cost not shown on the website?
So the reason why cost isn't shown on the website is because it can involve quite varying amounts of time, and we would generally charge it as an hourly rate. But depending on the age of the junior, so really you can get a 8, 9-year-old who actually there are very, very limited options, and it's quite a short fitting because you're literally looking at head weights make a massive difference. So we invariably use a US Kids or a head that we can make lighter, and then you're going to have fewer options on shaft weights that are going to be relevant, versus you get a 14-year-old. There's essentially probably as big as we are now, and that's still a full adult fitting. So the pricing structure is based on how involved that fitting session is, and we generally at the younger age would do it as an hourly rate.
Brilliant.
I hope that answered it correctly.
Yeah. Michael Barber, thoughts on online self-fitting, please? Is it a risky road to go down?
Yes, that's why we do what we do. You cannot fit. You can get a better product than going, oh look, Rory's using that, I'll have one of those. It's slightly better than that because there's some kind of algorithm behind it. But ultimately, proper fitting is about functionally making the player and the club work as a pair. And you cannot do that without little testing of nuances on weight and balance, feel, preference on flight, looking at spin profiles. There's so many aspects that go into it that, yes, it gives you it's a start. It's better than nothing, but it's not a lot better than nothing.
Very good. Lila.
Do you mind if I just ask a question on that?
Absolutely.
Is that
so? Can you write in?
Yes.
Just get my phone out. So when you say online fitting, is that like researching a shaft and saying, oh, I need less spin on a driver, so I might buy this one? Or is
You
there
can
a process that
include
you
that.
can go
There are some brands that have had sort of online fitting tools where you put in a club speed. You still got to know some of your data.
so
You
you
put in your club
spec
speed and
Oh,
what
right.
ball flight you want. And
I
so,
didn't even know that
so
was
there have been
available.
some. I think TXG did one with an online fitting where there are a range of questions to help kind of orient through, but you're still. What it can't see is it can't say, right, are you left-handed playing right-handed? That affects how you deliver the club massively.
Yeah.
How do you load the shaft? Which bits of your body do you generate your speed from? Do you have a restriction that makes you have to move a certain way? All of those bits come into why you need the club to work a certain way. So, and shafts don't. A low spin shaft can actually produce a high spin performance because it's about whether it affects the way you can move it. So
Sure.
those bits are the only way you can do that is in hand testing.
I suppose when you get the knowledge and then you understand like the tiny nuances that people need through fitting, that's what you don't get as well on the.
Yeah, and some of it is
online.
there's no ability to go right. Here are two options. This one's meant to do this. This one's meant to do that. Which one performs better? Ultimately, any form of fitting is. I'm not going to say educated guesswork, but you're taking a known parameter and changing and saying, right, how does this affect this person's swing? You can have a very good feel for how it might change someone's delivery pattern and timing, but you only really know, really clicks when you put it in someone's hands.
Sure.
I love Turtle. Shout out to GX Gloves. Excellent product. Would recommend to all. Very nice of you to say. I love Turtle. Stops giving me
Very
jip.
kind of you.
Yeah, well, listen, he'll turn on you. He turns on you.
I'll add if you order again, I'll add a few extra bits in there. I love Turtle.
Hi, if you had clubs where the weight of the shaft is too heavy for you, how would or could that affect your swing and ball flight if the clubs were too heavy for you?
So, easy way. Let me do a little demo just to show what happens. I can pick up one of yours because it's too heavy for me.
Yeah, lovely. We'll
so
come and
what-
skip round.
what
We'll come skip
happens
round here.
is-
Come and join me on the hockey here.
If the club gets too heavy, essentially, so if the club's right, you can stay balanced and you can move the club around you and control it. The moment the club gets too heavy, as you start down, it gets behind. So your body moves. It's a bit like chaining the club to the wall. And you start down, the club doesn't come with you, and then one of two things tends to happen. Either go that way, lift the handle up, the face opens. That can also create a flip. Or you have to throw your shoulder at it to fetch it, which then goes, it doesn't quite get over the top, but either way you come out of posture and you lose control. So rather than being able to stand nice and balanced, generate a lot of speed and stay stable through the ball, what will happen is it'll get behind and I'm going to have to change my own position to make it work. So what happens is I've stood out of it, lost my footing, lost my balance, and the ball's gone over there somewhere. So the next one you compensate and you flip to try and make it right. So basically you can't stay stable through the swing is the very short answer.
Do you notice how he coordinates the soles of his shoes to the top?
Oh
as
yeah,
well?
yeah, you got socks and everything as well.
Socks.
That is exceptional.
Isn't
Proper,
it?
yeah.
We came
It's got-
prepared for this live.
Oh no!
Oh,
Every week.
this is just my,
Every week.
This is my
this
natural habitat.
Oh, this is just.
I thought it was because I was here. He'd do
No,
some of
no,
this.
no, this
Oh,
is
I know.
throwaway.
That's a shame.
Absolute throwaway. This kind of fashion. You get it every night, Monday, 6 p.m. Be here. Very well explained there.
Cole
Thank you
still
so
hasn't
much.
sent me any shoes yet, so it's quite disappointing.
The golden. How's this for a strapline on YouTube? The golden age of horse racing. Love that.
Oh, yeah,
Love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We'll swap you my 3 Mura wedges for a bag fitting Simon.
Well, it depends who he's wanting to swap it with. You? Give you the mirror wedges?
I love
They are very nice clubs though.
Very nice. Joel C. Hello, fellas. The amount of your knowledge is helpful, impressive, and appreciated. Was wondering if you could tell me about the Mitsubishi OTI 105 shaft.
Okay, so the OTI, it's a composite shaft. The OTI is actually structurally really stable. They're a very strong shaft. They were their kind of main shaft before the MMT came out. So the OTI had like a weave. If we saw the original prototype of the shaft, and it was like lots of fibres interweaved together, almost in a kind of a crisscross rotational pattern. So it was a way of using materials to really strengthen and structurally stabilise the shaft without having to add a load of weight. The 105s are very strong, tend to swing a little kind of mid to lower half. They're going to Not going to affect swing weight too much, but it definitely will feel very, very stable. So if you want something that feels really strong through impact and not go to the heavier weights of some of the steels, they're a good option. If
you've got questions for George here on GX gloves, feel free to fire them in. We've got one for you here, George. Neil says, it says the fit is slightly smaller, so a very standard medium large size would have to order large. Is that correct?
If you're standard medium large in a FootJoy, for example, so when you put the FootJoy on, it's a good fit, but it's not like really tight. I would recommend sticking with that in GX golf gloves as well, because even though these are very, very slightly smaller than your standard Pro Shop brands, it's not enough to go a size up if you already feel like it's a good fit. If you love a tight glove and you're wearing a, for example, a medium in FootJoy, but it's really tight and you like that fit, I would recommend maybe stepping up to a medium large in that case.
But I think the trend, and I don't know how you feel about this, Simon, but the trend of people when they wear a glove is that they get them fitting perfectly the first time their hand goes in. 3 or 4 swings later, it's now a marigold.
Yeah.
It's loose. I don't think people maybe appreciate that when you put your hand in the glove, it's from the point that your hand goes in, you almost slightly stretch it to your hand, and I think at that point, that's when it fits really, really nicely. So
that's why the sticky gets further and further and further around.
And it is a natural material, you know, Cabretta leather is a natural material.
Yeah, like shoes, absolutely. Yeah, man on drums, James, he said absolutely like shoes. You know, they stretch.
True,
they stretch. You wouldn't buy a pair of shoes fit perfectly. They just want to be slightly tight, don't they?
Yeah, just like exactly. And breaking in shoes, I guess it's similar with a glove. You know, you kind of break it. It will take much less time than shoes. It may take like 3-4 shots, and then it gets supple. You know, it fits around your hand a little better. Yeah, as I said, it's a natural material, so it will give. So.
And I Love Turtle goes on to say, so the guys are chatting on the channel between them. I Love Turtle says, not his experience, Niels, to that question. They were just a tighter fit and a better description, in his opinion.
Because I say I would always have been the ignominy having a cadet glove.
Yes.
So it's potentially slightly shorter finger to palm proportion. But I'd always be a medium in that, and so the palm size on the medium, absolutely spot on. Finger length good as well. So.
Chris goes on to say, GX may get me out of the Kirkland gloves. They look great. Anyone watching used both. Niels Axelson goes on to say, thanks, I Love Turtle. Got me thinking. Great chat between all of the guys.
I think one of the other aspects of actually a fresh glove that's not one is it allows you to relax your grip pressure. One of the things we see people in the bay all the time are gripping the hell out of the stuff, and you're actually kind of wringing the neck of it. And actually, a fresher glove actually is going to give you a bit more purchase. People often say, wider. I see comments about Fred Couples not wearing a glove or Pavin not wearing a glove, but most players wear a glove because you get better grip. So it allows you to free your grip pressure up and get a more fluid action. So that's one of the other reasons for wearing for not kind of overusing a glove.
I mean, a brand new leather glove. And I think our journey with YouTube, with Precision Golf, with having brands involved with us that are befitting with Precision Golf, with who I want to be. There is no glove out there that will come anywhere close to the GX gloves. Just go and buy them and try them, because at £10, the value, the quality is incredible. As far as I'm concerned, it's Titleist player's glove and more for me. So absolutely a must. And where else do you get a story from a guy in the UK trying to set out and be someone that's invested in that brand early doors? So do go out and support it, because it's really good for you and us. So Niels Axon, Love Turtle. Yeah, so I Love Turtle. So these commenting a lot tonight. Yes, Chris, GX all day, so much better quality. Shipping to Europe, will there be a customs and VAT fees on top, or do you ship from the EU?
If you order to Europe, mainland Europe, there will not be a charge. to pay tax or anything like that. There's a higher shipping charge, but it still does work out at a pretty fair price for yourselves if we do have people from mainland Europe in the chat. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Super. Dave Hurley, when I wear an XL glove, it's not tight, loose in areas. When I use a large, it's too tight. Any thoughts? I mean, if it's loose in any form when you first put a glove on, it's the wrong size as far as I'm concerned. It wants to be, and that's why I always don't give your glove to someone the first. Like if you've worn it like once, don't give it to someone else and they've got a bigger hand, because they will stretch it to their hand, and then you put it on, and now it's a marigold. So I'll just be cautious of that. Is it possible to do monthly GX subscriptions for the women's glove? Can't see it on the website.
That is getting added to it.
Brilliant.
At the moment. The women's glove.
Tell us about the subscription method, because I think this is genius.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you subscribe to the GX Club on the website, you can actually see it on the website if you scroll down a touch. You can pay £9.10 a month. You get a glove show up to your door without you even having to think, that you can just throw in your bag. It comes in a nice package. We've actually got some over there. We could grab a couple. These packages are actually my pride and joy. These have been designed by me.
And so you should be.
These are a genuinely helpful thing to have, because you throw them in your bag and they're fully waterproof. You could throw them in a lake, they'll be fine. And they trying to block me out. So yeah, they're fully waterproof, perfect to as I said, just throw them in your bag. So £9.10 a month. You get obviously a glove in there, and then you get a nice little GX decal as well, a little sticker. So can't say fairer than that, can you?
Can't. Sorry about that poor attempt at trying to show you the packaging, but it's very, very cool. So
you'll never make up the prices right.
No, definitely not. I had a question there. Yes, so the ladies' subscription.
Yes,
someone's
subscription.
so it's going on the website, and someone has just asked. Ian Linfoot has just asked: is there a Precision Golf discount code to try for GX gloves? Have we got one?
There is, yeah. Precision. Code Precision will get you 10% off. Also, good coaching will get you 10% off.
Yes.
But as this is the Precision Golf,
let's put precision in.
Use that one
to
support the channel.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, either precision.
What leather is it? For those who in terms of the gloves,
Yeah, it's
so different kinds of leathers. So
yeah, this is Cabretta leather, which is really not actually used in many other products apart from golf gloves. There are some women's fashion gloves that use it. There's also some handbags that use it as well, but the Cabretta leather market is fully for golf gloves, and this is the same material that is used in, as I said, the ones that you'll see in the pro shops, the Titleist players, FootJoy gloves, that sort of thing.
Superb. Chris goes on to ask, hey gents, have been looking at iron set lofts, and set the degree varies from 5 degrees in wedges to as little as 2 degrees around the 3 and 4 iron. Why is that? And is it too little for amateur golf?
4 iron isn't very much at all. Other things.
I didn't know that.
But they should have just let him use his own shaft. And it also just coincided with their tail off, and then everyone blamed the brand on it. But they used to be much bigger.
What's that?
And they just went all bling, yeah.
Oh, right.
Been around a long time.
I think they're like 24 carat gold irons they got in there. They're quite expensive.
Do you want to accept on here?
Okay, we're back up.
Perfect.
Do you want me to accept on here?
Sorry about that, chaps. The lease line is being installed as we speak.
Someone didn't pay the bill.
I've played too many of those. So I'll finish on the loft gaps. Basically, bigger at the bottom to make sure that the distance gapping, they don't get too close together, and give enough differentiation. Then look for even gaps in the middle. At the top end, where you normally get a bit more tech in the heads, some of the loft gaps drop a little bit, but we don't do many 3 and 4 irons now because of the strength of the lofts. So.
Ian Linfoot asks, should driver swing weight be the same as your iron swing weight?
No, the one thing we found out, not necessarily, is the short answer. For some reason over the years, a physics dean would tell me why the driver swing weight and the 6-iron swing weight, if the 6-iron's at standard length, tend to be very close. So that's something we found over 20 years doing it. There's almost within a half a point a lot of the time.
Interesting. Niels Axon says he's on the order page, he's starting with a 6-pack.
What about the gloves?
That was excellent.
Boom, boom.
Look at that. Still got it.
Still
I'm
got
going to
it.
use that one in the future, actually. Yeah.
Nigel asks, hi, what's the lightest mid-size grip for driver without affecting swing weight? Is there an overall total weight to keep to without compromising SS?
I think if you were to keep so standard
swing
grip
speed.
weights, standard grip weights.
You can come again.
Yes, he's teaching things. Standard grip weights around 50 to 55 grams. So tall velvet mid-size, or the tall velvet 360 mid-size. If you like a cord, the Z cord mid-size. Lankin, the Sonars, any of those series in the mid-size are fine as well. Those are generally the ones. Win do some really lightweight ones, but they go light, and then in the UK they just suck up water. Those are the best ones for that.
Amazing knowledge. That is good. That.
Every week.
Excellent knowledge.
Every week.
Yeah.
Every week.
What about the Jumbo Max grips? Are they quite light?
They do some very light ones, and then they do some. So theirs are pretty good for the ultra lights can be really quite light. So some of them get to 36 grams.
Right.
But generally there are some of those, the large and the large, extra large, large and medium tend to be around the 50 to 55 gram mark as well.
Go and get a club, George.
Incredible.
Let's see you. Let's give it.
What club do you want?
Let's warm you up with a few 7-irons, and then
Okay,
we'll get onto the big stick in a minute. Because I fancy you've got some club head speed in you. So we've got Tony. You talked about how tight players hold a club, but in your opinion, how tight should a player hold the club? I've heard the analogy of holding a bird with toothpaste in a tube. So let's ask. So Simon's off +1. Plus 2, sorry. So you're +3. +3. So I'm the chopper out of the three of us.
You're not getting any shots from me.
So +3, +2, scratch. Mark, what are you? 8 handicap, 6 handicap, 6 handicap. So let's ask on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the tightest, 0 being it could almost fall out of your hands. Where would you be at, George?
I'd give it a 6, I think.
What about you?
4 to 5, yeah.
What about you, Mark? Mark's 6. I'm probably a 4. So the reason why I ask that is because one size doesn't fit all. I think it's really important that you experiment. Grip it as light as possible. Grip it as tight as possible. All you're looking for is that you can grip something tight and still have mobility in your wrist. Yeah. So the mobility in the wrist is ultimately the thing that you're looking for. But even that, some people won't be able to play with that, because all of a sudden you'll get some down cocking in the downswing, which will affect the way your levers work. So I think it's very difficult to say you need to grip it like this. I think gripping a bird in your hand is a really poor analogy, because if you really gripped a golf club like that,
actually know what that feels like.
Yeah.
That bird at my impact would be struggling a little bit.
I picked up a dead one the other day. That you could grip it really tight and fine.
Have you seen those rubber chickens where you squeeze them and the head swells? I mean, that's all. That's all I can imagine of a golf club.
I think what he says, I think there was something that Sevi did years, but he said, grip it really tight as you can, and then loosen it off, and then you get that sense of fluidity and movement. I think 50% is a good start point, and then kind of experiment with what feels right.
Go up
but
or go down.
better to have. You certainly want the freedom. You don't want to be white knuckling it.
No.
I think also as well, I personally sometimes when I get under pressure, I tense up a bit, and my grip will get tense, but also I feel it in my arms as well.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to consciously think to myself, all right, let's relax the arms a bit. And in doing that, my grip will loosen up as well. So,
having spent only a little amount of time with you, it doesn't look like anything would stress you out, George.
I'm glad I give that impression. That's the best compliment I've ever had.
Go on, have a
You know what it is for me?
Go on.
Bad golf and traffic.
Bad golf and traffic. Those are the two things that
Those are
stress
two
you
things
out.
that stress me out more than anything else.
Yeah, well, the traffic around here stresses me out. That's
Oh
what-
goodness, it's terrible, isn't it? Tony goes on to say, and what benefits of holding it in a specific tightness? It's going to be different for everyone, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be different for everyone.
I think feel 100%.
Yeah.
That is the key thing of I think of
Yeah.
holding it with a.
If you get tight here, as you say, it goes all the way across arms, shoulders, chest, and you lock out. And you can't. You'll lose speed. You'll lose consistency. You'll come out of posture.
Yeah.
So actually, it's that looseness. It's loose enough to have that freedom without giving up control.
Loose as a goose. Okay, we've talked about it now. Let's see you hit the 7-iron.
Okay.
We've never had
Where do
anyone
you play golf, George?
I play at Brocket Hall and Nebworth. Shout out to Nebworth because that was where I grew up playing.
Right, right. No one's ever shanked it on the show before, George.
You ready?
I think you'll find I
You ready for the
probably
first?
At +2, the man's got nerves of steel.
I just played
am.
a
Shoes
pro-am,
that colour
so-
as well. It's almost like your sweater on the TV earlier.
Nice. Nice. Look at that. Flushed. First hole out. Straight on, straight in. Nice shot.
Yeah, proper.
Very
Cheers,
nice.
guys. Catch you later.
Yeah, that's it.
Catch you next week.
That's all we've got. So we've got Nick Lutton. I recently ordered the triple pack of Cabretta gloves and enjoyed the 10% discount. They arrived within 2 days and look great. Super.
Thank you very
What a
much.
lovely testimonial.
Yeah. Excellent.
Having tech troubles keeps dropping out. I think we're back with you now. Ms. Ali Nerd. Yep, so everyone's the same. Not that sort of bird, guys. Thanks for the replies. Tony, that was. Golf Nerd. Golf Nerd. What are your best tips for protecting golf clubs for air travel? Any bad experiences?
Well, one thing I always do, take the, if you've got in the woods that you can take the heads off, take the heads off, because the longest club, the driver and the 3 in particular, that's when baggage handling inevitably give it a lob, it's going to land on that first. So take the driver head off and the 3-wood head off, and then put them in the side pocket. That's one of the first things, and have a decent padded bag.
Yeah, padded bag is a biggie. And if you can, tour bag is the way forwards. If you're going to travel somewhere for a decent amount of time, right? Get your tour bag head cover on there and stuff a couple of golf towels in there, and that protects them nicely. And you can actually get posts, I forget what they're called.
There's a club glove one.
Yeah, you put a post in and then
mini
you can
umbrella
adjust it, you can push it out the top so it sits higher than the top of your driver.
Demonstration.
That's what they would force us to use that in college when we would travel around to tournaments.
Right.
They gave us all one of them and go in the bag, and it just pushes up on the material, so the clubs don't really get any pressure on them at all.
And then
if they're thrown around.
that takes the first impact, which is
Yeah,
really
exactly.
the key thing,
You better go
Rather
get your
that, right?
you better go get your driver out now, haven't
Yeah.
you?
Okay. Let's
It's not-
94 with a
94,
7-iron.
I know, and he smoothed that out there
What
as
did you
well.
bring him in for?
I know.
It's not as bad as having a Hyatt in here, but it's not far off.
All right. Let me get a couple of tips.
What else have we got on
on
here?
there, yeah.
Yeah, we're on back. We get George to swipe a driver.
Not sure
What size glove are you,
Not sure
George?
336 yards are going to be long enough.
It's funny you asked that actually. In the winter, I'm a medium. In the summer, I get a little sweaty, hands expand.
Yeah.
I like to go to medium large. Feels a bit more comfortable for me.
It's actually a very good point.
Which may be
Mark's a
something
very
that-
sweaty-handed man, aren't you, Mark?
in
You're
golf.
a very sweaty-handed
I'll use
man.
this one, yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll use that. Yeah.
These two, best of enemies, those two, aren't they?
Look at that. I love Mark. I love Mark. How long were you in college for? 4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah.
What was the weekly format for you?
It was.
So you'd study until lunchtime?
We would actually, in Florida, we would wake up about 5-ish, go and practice until 11, 12. We had our own practice facility, which had its own green staff. So basically there was about eight or nine fellas on the team, and then there were 8 or 9 girls on the girls team. And we had that whole amazing practice area for all of us to use, class. So yeah, we'd get up about 5.
How many university students would get up at 5 o'clock in the
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. When you had a coach like ours,
yeah, you did.
make sure that alarm was set. Yeah. What was I saying?
So you'd play until midday, 1 o'clock,
Yeah.
and then you'd study.
Then we'd
in the
have
afternoon.
classes.
Yeah.
And then we could go and play if we wanted after, but generally we wouldn't. And then, then in tournament season, we'd have qualifying. So instead of practice, we'd be going to play. And we played Alworth, Lake Nona, quite a lot of the time. A place called Rio Pinar, North Shore. They're all in Orlando. If anyone is aware of them.
Not
Nice
the worst.
courses.
Very good.
Life's downhill from there, isn't it?
I know.
And that was it.
And then after the 4 years of university,
Yeah.
golf wasn't for you. Didn't feel you were good enough.
I
Inevitably, or-
always saw myself turning pro when I was younger. I could never imagine anything else. playing, especially playing in Florida, which was a higher level university than when I was in New York. You really got to see the best players of college golf. Like in one of my last tournaments, I was hitting balls next to Rahm. In the first college tournament I played in Florida, Jordan Spieth won it. You know, the best player I personally played with on my team, a guy called Manuel Oliveira, sensational player. He would always beat me, you know, always. He's now actually going to be playing on the DP World Tour. I think he's actually played his first event or something, actually. So yeah, you really get to see the standard. I love playing golf now. I love trying to improve. I still feel like I'm improving, and that's what I get. I get real enjoyment out of that, you know, and I get enjoyment out of providing a product to people that can give them value and save them money, but also give them a good performing glove.
And where do you see GX golf gloves going?
I really like the idea that people have when they get the gloves, that they're like, oh, I need new gloves, I'll go to gxgolfgloves.com. And I like that being set in the mind of people. So being in pro shops would be great, but the USP of it being an excellent golf glove at a good price comes from it being able to cut the gloves getting made, coming to me, and then going from the website and just cutting out as much of the fat as you possibly can. So we'll see where it goes in the future, but growing the customer base is at the forefront of my mind, you know.
Yeah, very good.
Give it a crack, yeah.
We're not going to get sucked into the vortex here, are we? What's your club head speed?
It really depends. I've been hitting the gym quite a bit, so it'd be good to
about
check again.
118.
You can have a guess. Yeah.
I'm going with 116.
Okay.
Wait, I think said a tricky 123 or something.
Yeah, that's right. We've completely undersold it.
Custom
I
wrap
would have got
shaft.
nervous if you said that.
Oh no, that's 116. That's 122.
I hit that nice.
What are you going? What are you going with? Call it in the air.
119.
119. I'm going 122.
Centered.
Why do you go? It's not warmed up. It's probably 116. Yeah, okay,
112.
Yes,
112.
It's going to ramp
112.
up from there. See, that's just he's only hit 1.7.
dear.
Over promise, under deliver. As they say.
Have another go.
I love that.
Have another go. Have another
Club
go.
path 0.0. That's pretty impressive.
That wasn't too
Is
bad.
it?
I mean, it was a cheeky 280 carry on straight out the cold tin. Neil Jackson, my son's driver shaft got crushed once. There's nothing worse than that, is there?
No.
Taking the head cover off your
Yeah.
golf bag, pulling your driver out in two bits.
Yeah. This one feels a bit light.
Oh,
It's always a bit when we go on
Little
one of our
left, that
trips that I don't mind the luggage not getting there. if the golf clubs arrive, that's I can sort the other stuff.
Yeah, you can buy some pants.
Like
can't you?
why don't you just rent clubs? I'd rather not play.
Yeah, 114.
15 you see within one swing up to
Very good,
170 odd
yeah.
ball speed. Yeah.
Chris says, just ordered a 3-pack to start with GX. Wonderful, thank you for the support. And Niels Axelson, he says, he's just added a GX polo shirt to the order as well as 6-pack. Hey?
No.
Hey?
And here it is.
Beers, a polo shirt, and some gloves. That sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. So, this week in the world of golf, anything going on? I don't think there is much going on in the world of golf.
They get Mauritius Open, playing the new course.
Yes.
It's Heritage. It's not the Chateau course they played on before. It's the Links, which I believe Oosthuizen designed. He's just won at Leopard Creek.
Yes, I saw that.
The Reserve. Reserve, sorry, not Links.
Good to see Marco Penge do well this week on the back of
He's got some speed,
his
hasn't he?
card. Yeah. I mean, he's had a very funny, or not funny, but he's had a slow start to his career when he was such a big
absolutely.
promise at a young age, battled with his game a little bit and now got his card on the DP World Tour. Be really interested to see, and be great to see him kick on and play the golf. 25 years old, so got lifetime ahead of him.
He was in the era playing golf in the sort of age range that I was playing. I remember him as a youngster shooting some of these incredible scores, you know. And then sort of later in the later junior years, or towards like sort of 20, 21, 22, I sort of I'd see his scores and they would be sort of not as great, and a lot of people would think, oh, you know, he was good when he was young and he's fallen off a bit. But he has had one of the best like sort of comebacks, because you rarely see that. I think you rarely see a good player who maybe goes off the boil a bit and then comes back and just, you know, and now he's on the DP World Tour. So best of luck to him. It's a phenomenal achievement he's made.
Bogeyed the last, didn't he? It was par 5 last. He bogeyed the last. I always like when you see someone have a good finish that's new on tour or had a good week for them. How did they play the last 3 holes? And he bogeyed the last. It was a par 5 at Leopard Creek. It's a tricky hole. But I mean that took him into joint fourth with about 4 others, which would have cost him probably 50 grand. It might be, probably not an issue by the end of the year, but you never know what a situation like that goes on.
The other thing we've just had was the Champions Cup.
Yes,
so
Monty,
the seniors event, which Colin was out playing. He really enjoyed it. I had a few messages with him over the weekend. Apart from the result, he's not particularly keen on Europe coming third, but he was pleased to hold the same score as Stricker in the singles in the afternoon. It's just great fun to get in the team environment again. All of them really enjoyed it. I think that's a format, that kind of 3-way tournament. I think things like that are great fun, really, really fun to watch.
We can't shy away from the fact that Liv has opened up the imagination of golf, hasn't it? All these. I know that you could arguably say that there's been sort of these various team tournaments, but it's become more prevalent, isn't there? There's been more inspiration to do different things on the back of Liv, I think, and maybe that has come on the back of it in some way, shape or form.
That was brewing. The kind of Senior Ryder Cup was brewing for a long time, but then you've got the internationals, and when you've got a group like you just take the teams. Langer, Monty, Clark. Parnick was vice captain. Jimenez, Checker, and Carlson, and then the internationals got Goose and El Singh, Stephen Alker, Stephen Ames. There's one other, I can't remember who the other one was. But you've got, and on the US side, you've got Justin Leonard, and it's such big names. It's been boiling. That's been bubbling up for a while. But I think there's just such a chance for golf to do some interesting things from a format point of view. I think now there's a big viewership of golf, if that's a word, and I think golf's in a great place for the people who are playing it, and how many there are vying for that top spot. So actually, come on guys, just give it try some stuff. Let us watch some different formats. Let us see how fun it can be. I think that's part of the thing with the team things. You see how fun it is.
And they had that one over in the US, the LPGA Tour and PGA Tour. Charlie was playing with Justin Rose, wasn't he? Jason Day and Lydia Ko.
I think as well, what you're saying about the Liv, I went to the one at Centurion in Hertfordshire, and the amount of people that were there that didn't actually play golf, they were just there with their mates. Maybe they played golf, but there's a lot of people there who didn't play golf and they were having a good time. It's I can't lie, it's fun. And then they got a show on after, and it's really, everyone's got their own opinion about Live.
Of course.
But it is really opening it up to a demographic who maybe has played golf, maybe enjoys a bit of top golf, and I like that. I think that's good.
I think anything that gets, if you take out the politics between the tours and Live, anything that gets people into the game is a good thing. And I think that's to me is the big miss of all of this, is that there's through zero communication at the beginning, there is a massive opportunity lost to make the most of making it work for everybody, and now you just got animosity between them, and ultimately, normally the people with more money win.
Yeah.
So, looks relatively inevitable here. It might be, but I think there was such an opportunity to make it work all round, and just a bit of stubbornness and people not liking Greg Norman. Ultimately, seems to have been something that could have really put golf back a few years.
Golf Nerd says, asks what or who were your inspirations as a club fitter?
Was a club fitter? Honestly, there are no real inspirations as a club fitter. The inspiration was just to do the best I could for everyone. I've always liked the physics side of things, and the kind of if I do X, then what happens, and I've always enjoyed that side, whether it was my technique or nutrition or fitness. Got into fitting purely by mistake, well, not by mistake, but by chance. Got to meet James and through where he was training and had a set built by them, and through going back and forth and tinkering, started to see the possibilities. I've always been aware of different shafts and heads and things, but inspirations from fitting, it's hard because you can't gain. You gain experience fitting by doing it, and so there isn't really. I wanted, especially back then, it was so new. Didn't really have a. That's who I kind of aspire to be. I just wanted to be the best I could at what I did.
Yeah, no, fair play. Faz889, do you actually see a distance increase in different steel iron shafts of the same flex? If so, what distance gains do you typically see in a fitting?
So the thing not to mistake is that flex does something really tangible to ball speed. In terms of if you're using relevant flexes, regular to a stiff or a stiff to an X is 3 to 5% of the shaft bend. It's minimal. It affects more trajectory. So what you're very unlikely to get is a load and a kick that increases club speed. What you tend to get is you can play two shafts of the same flex and increase club speed and improve ball striking and timing through being able to deliver it more efficiently. That's the key thing. What you've just said there is what, and this isn't a criticism, but it's what most people get wrong with club fitting. It is very little to do with the flex of the shaft being a major influence.
Good stuff. Tony, what are your opinions on swing speed training tools like the super speed sticks, etc.?
Yeah, I'm interested to know that actually. Yeah.
Well, for me,
I'll let you answer this.
Yeah, me personally, I think you need to be really careful if you've got a golf swing that is idiosyncratic, a bit dysfunctional. It's like going into, and the analogy that I put across is if you went into the gym and you're an Olympic deadlifter, and then you've got a rank amateur standing next to him, you should have the same technique, nuts and bolts. If the amateur deadlifter suddenly loaded the bar with poor technique, he could probably lift it, but keep lifting it, he'll snap himself in two. So my problem is that this overspeed training that seems like a great idea, if you're using yourself in the incorrect manner, I think you really run the risk of injuring yourself really pretty badly. So I would seek a physician's opinion first, really, i.e. a golf pro. See what he believes, how your swing is behaving, and whether there's some opportunity in whether you could move a bit more dynamically that would help you. But often the case, if you're not moving functionally in your golf swing and then you just add more speed to it, it's just going to make the ball move off line more. So I'd be cautious with it personally.
I think that's the one thing with the long drive guys and girls, is that part of what makes them, they're obviously physically very, very gifted and have done a lot of work on it, but their technique's really good, which is they can put speed and force through a good technique, and if you put force into a bad technique, something's going to give and snap, whether it's your body or your golf shot. And so I think technique will override. Okay, speed helps, but technique will override a lot of things.
I think it was Harvey Pennick who said the woods are full of long drives.
Yeah.
Just take that
Little red or
I
little
think
green
you've got to take that into
yeah.
account when
Yeah.
you.
And our last question for the evening, is it possible to make loft adjustments to glued fairway woods?
Technically, yes, but it's high risk. So the tour vans will have a clamp that the head goes into, and then they basically heat the heck out of the hosel and then bend it and hope it doesn't break. So yes, you can do it. It's not something we do, simply because we don't want to break your club.
What's bending when they do that? Is it the metal or is it like
It's
the
equivalent. It's the equivalent of that bit. So where the shaft goes in, you've got a narrower wall where the shaft goes in. But where the bottom of the shaft goes to, that's the bit that bends.
Right.
But the neck of a metal wood is a lot more brittle than a forged iron head.
Okay.
So,
High tariff.
very high tariff. Yeah. It's a fine with tour vans. You can reach on the shelf and get another one.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury.
Yeah, no,
so, yeah.
exactly. Well, as usual, we have hit our 1 hour mark. It's been so wonderful having you along, George. And
Thanks.
It's been great
yeah.
being here. I've really enjoyed
we're
it.
already enjoying our very early days relationship with you, and so long may that continue. And we wish you all the best of luck with the GX Golf Glove brand
Thank
in
you.
its entirety.
I'm excited for our partnership together. I appreciate you guys inviting me down, and it's been great. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, as usual, GX Golf Gloves is going to be with us for quite some time. When you're down having a fit in, you'll be able to grab yourself a new glove. As usual, Simon and I will be here next week, and we might be dressed in something slightly different next week.
Might
So
If we can find something. Yeah.
I would thoroughly recommend tuning in next week.
Christmas week, so
It's- yeah,
it's a
exactly.
bit of silliness.
Yes,
I would imagine, yeah.
absolutely.
Seriousness and silliness.
So do stay tuned next week, Monday at 6 o'clock. As you'll probably know from previous shows, 60% of you are not subscribed to our channel that are watching this video. If you've enjoyed tonight, do consider hitting the like button and share and subscribe. From all of us here at Precision Golf, thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week.